Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Real Watchers live stream. My name is Garrett, and we seem to have lost our co-host Adrian for a brief
instantly.
As I was
If it
saying, my
happens
name
again,
is
I'll
Garrett.
reset real quick, but we'll figure it out.
I am your host, Garrett,
And I'm Adrian.
and welcome to the stream for September 5th, our first live stream of September. Man, we're gonna be doing a year anniversary before not too long. It's gonna be kind of
That is kind of crazy, actually. Yeah.
But how you all doing? It looks like we got 2 people watching us right now. How you doing? Go ahead and leave a comment in there. Our good friend Kevin, co-host of Movie Club, says hi. Hello, Kevin.
Hey, Kevin.
Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. But Adrian, before we kind of dive into today's show, how are you doing?
I'm good. I had my 10-year high school reunion this past weekend, so that was pretty crazy. Apparently, I really got into parkour as the drinking went on, so I've got a couple of battle scars.
Oh no!
I'm deciding to flip around outside. But it was all around really cool and reconnected with a couple of friends that we're hoping to hang out with here soon. So it was really nice. And then otherwise just hung out on the weekend. How about yourself?
That's awesome. Yeah, luckily I had a 3-day weekend. I don't know about you.
I did not, no.
So I was able to engage in an activity we'll talk about a little bit later in the show because it's taking up all my time right now. But yeah, it was nice and relaxing. Got the movies watched for The Wheel of Fate this week, which was an interesting group of movies. And then yeah, it was pretty average weekend for all me. Looks like we have he's back. But let's go ahead and dive into the stories for this week. We'll go ahead and jump into the first one, probably the biggest piece of news this entire week. We got our first teaser for The Boy and the Heron, the new Studio Ghibli film. The full trailer / first look is going to be dropping tomorrow. This latest teaser was probably like a 20-second, 30-second teaser that just kind of went over the core of what the story is going to be.
Yeah.
Sounds fascinating, but I'm really interested in seeing some footage.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing everyone wants to see because that's obviously the main draw. So I think everybody's kind of just holding their breath for that.
Yeah, tomorrow morning or hopefully tonight before we go to bed. That'd be nice.
Yeah, it could be tonight.
Sweeten the deal.
In other news, Taylor Swift beats Spider-Man, sets AMC presale records for the Eras Tour movie. This does make a lot of sense. Her fan base is pretty into it, I could say, because I'm one of them. I do think this is really skewed simply by the fact that tickets are $19.89 in like honor of her album 1989. So, I mean, tickets are just more expensive than they were for Spider-Man. So I think that even if the sales are equivalent, she's beaten out. Very smart woman for sure.
And I'm sure the people that wanted to go to the concert and couldn't because of either cost or wasn't coming to their area, it's going to be a good way for them to kind of engage with it. So
yeah, it's just more expensive than like a normal movie, but way cheaper
is
than
it?
going to.
Is it not just like a normal movie ticket? And we have lost.
Did you hear me?
There we go. No, you cut out.
But what I was saying, well, if I cut out for this part, I must have been gone for the whole thing. But tickets are $19.89 in honor of her album 1989.
That seems predatory.
So that's what I was saying. I just said that whole thing.
Oh, okay. I'm just reinforcing the fact.
But so that's why I'm saying it beat out Spider-Man because the movie tickets alone are more expensive than a standard movie ticket. So even if it sold the same amount, it earned more money.
Exactly. That makes a lot of sense. I didn't think it would be that. I thought it was more like sheer number, but I guess if it's a pre-sales record, it's got to be the amount. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Speaking of nothing in particular, The Exorcist Believer had its release date moved up a week to October 13th. You're getting it a week earlier now, which is awesome. Really looking forward to seeing this movie. As we'll talk about a little bit later, we did get a brand new trailer today that's making the film look pretty good.
Yeah, I think October 13th is also like a perfect release date for it too. So I think that's just, I think they're just lining it up.
I think it's no stranger, or it may not be coincidental, I think is what I was trying to say. It does have a maze at Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios this year, so it's probably they want to push it up so people can see it and not be spoiled by a maze would probably be a good idea, if the maze has any spoilers at all. But yeah, this is exciting. Can't wait to go see it.
Yeah. In other news, Giancarlo Esposito is in talks with James Gunn to join the DCU. Some of the rumored roles do include Brainiac, Lex Luthor, and Martian Manhunter. Pretty exciting. I mean, this isn't like, I would say it's a little bit surprising, but I feel like I could see these roles being perfect if done correctly in the right movie. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, and honestly, I love Giancarlo Esposito. I think he's one of the better kind of villain actors, I guess you could say, working today. But honestly, I would love to see him as Martian Manhunter and be in more of a hero role. Instead of, he plays a similar character on The Boys, and he plays obviously a villain with The Mandalorian. So, I think having him in a hero role for once would be kind of refreshing.
Yeah, I think he's definitely got that villain thing down. So it would be nice to see him branch out.
Yeah, 100%. But hopefully it has some truth to it. But we'll wait and see. Next up, we are getting a Snow White and the Seven Dwarves 4K remastered Blu-ray release on October 10th. It is the first time we are getting any of the kind of classic original Disney movies in 4K, as far as I'm aware. And it is for the 100th anniversary of Disney. So this is actually pretty exciting. It's in a steelbook case. It looks really official. It's like a brushed steel, and it has like the Disney 100 logo on the top, and then just a portrait of Snow White. I'm definitely going to go out there and put this in my collection.
Nice. Yeah, no, that's really nice. One of the original animated movies I ever saw in my whole life. So excited to see it still getting the attention it deserves. In other news, Stray the game is being adapted into an animated film. Same studio as the very famous film Nimona, and obviously based on the video game. This one I think has been kind of in the rumor mill for quite a while. I think it was like the moment the game came out, people were like, we got to see the movie. So a little bit of a confirmation on this for a lot of people, and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, the studio is Annapurna, I believe is the name, or Annapurna, or whatever it's called. Yeah, they just did Nimona that came out this year, which was a surprisingly good animated film. And hopefully Stray lives up to all the hype I hear about it as a video game.
Wish I could play it.
Is it on? I thought it was on more than just PlayStation, or is it just PlayStation?
And PC, I think.
Oh, okay. Alrighty. Well, next up, speaking of PlayStation, The Last of Us showrunner Craig Mazin, who co-show ran The Last of Us show with the creator Neil Druckmann, has been rumored to be developing the next Pirates of the Caribbean, which I guess I saw that I was reading the article this morning. Apparently he was working on this before the strikes happened. So was in the talks of developing it and getting it going. I think this is really great. Craig Mazin is a really talented writer, and he was a really talented showrunner as well with Chernobyl and The Last of Us, two of my favorite shows probably of all time, and really looking forward to see what he can do with it.
Yeah, I really think he can bring a lot to the table, especially with kind of where Pirates of the Caribbean left off. I definitely think there's some things to be salvaged there, and I think he could do a perfect job at that.
I did see that he was quoted as saying that they were worried that Disney was actually not going to be interested in the script because it was too weird. But then Disney ate it up and said, we want to make it. So
Interesting.
Hey, pretty exciting.
And then last but not least in the news today, Maestro gets a 7-minute standing ovation at Venice Film Festival. Not quite the longest ever. I still think Brendan Fraser has the record for like whatever his was, but definitely notable nonetheless. I think his was 8 minutes.
His is 8 minutes. I think it's a Venice record for
this specific film festival.
For Brendan Fraser, I think has the Venice record.
Oh, okay.
The longest standing ovation ever was for Pan's Labyrinth, and it was 22 minutes.
I mean, what are you even doing?
I mean, it's to be fair, it's a fantastic movie, and it
deserves all
the applause. But 22 minutes is really crazy.
Like that's you know what? Guillermo del Toro's just gonna run to McDonald's, grab a burger. He'll come back when you guys are done clapping.
He just comes back with bags for everyone, is what it. And that's why it kept it going, because they're like, "Hey, yeah, give me a nugget." No, Maestro is looking really good. The trailer looks really good. It's Bradley Cooper's first directorial effort, so the fact that it's getting any kind of ovations at all is huge.
Totally.
This award season is looking to be really, really stacked with some good stuff, which kind of leads us into our last topic, actually, which is Poor Things, the new film from Yorgos Lanthimos starring Emma Stone and Mark Ruffalo. Has an incredible film festival debut. It actually had 100% on Metacritic for the first 5 days, and is now dropped to a 94, and is looking top of the kind of leaderboards right now for an Oscar nomination for Emma Stone, another Oscar nomination for Mark Ruffalo, and potentially Oscar for Best Picture and Director for Yorgos Lanthimos. So really, really interesting.
Incredible.
Yeah, sounds like it's going to be kind of like a feminist version of, or pro-feminist version of Frankenstein, but more like art house. So
Sure.
kind of the more art house counterpart of Barbie. So hey, we'll definitely take some more interesting films if we can.
Here for it, yeah.
Let's go ahead and get into the comments for today. Our good friend Nadia from Horror and More. My 10-year high school reunion is this year too, and it got canceled. Sad face. Yeah, mine was last year, and it got canceled because no one wanted to go.
Ours was pretty small. I think our class was like 200 plus, and I'd say there was like maybe 30 people there at the most. Yeah, it was a good time though. Like I said, I would, if you ever get a chance to go, I would recommend it. It was fun.
Cassidy was asking if it was because of Hillary Clinton. For those of you who don't know, Hillary Clinton came to California in the force of a hurricane, but apparently no, they're just lazy as fuck. Our good friend Nadia again. Garrett, is this the first time you've worn a white shirt? It's not really white. It's like a cream color. And yes, probably on stream. I think I've only worn black shirts on stream. I was just too lazy to change. So you see the crack in my facade for an hour here. Remastering a 4K, isn't that redundant? No. So it's not a remaster of the 4K. It's a 4K remaster of the original film. So it's taking it from the original film reel and making it higher definition. How much is 4K going to improve the animation? It depends with certain films. I think with films like Snow White and Sleeping Beauty, I think you're going to see a lot more of the artistry, the pencil strokes. You're going to see the detail, which is really what I look forward to in a 4K animated release. I actually have a 4K Ghost in the Shell that our good friend Kevin got me for my birthday a while ago, and I haven't watched it yet in 4K, but I'm like stoked to. I might actually watch it tonight now that I'm thinking about it. But I feel like it can, just because again, it shows you detail, and it shows you things that maybe you wouldn't have seen before art-wise.
Totally.
Matt Walls, oh yeah, I've been wanting more Pirates of the Caribbean. We all want more Pirates of the Caribbean. Unfortunately, our good friend Johnny Depp will not be returning, unfortunately, because he is the heart and soul of it. But hey, depends on who they get for it. Kevin, your shirt is Squishy Indiana Jones. Oh yeah, for those of you who don't know, I think Nadia is going to be putting up a vlog about our trip to a book off store yesterday. We found a really cursed Indiana Jones action figure. I'll have to see if I can send a picture to myself and show it on screen, because it's haunting. Indiana, okay. Matt Walls, who can clap that long and not bust out laughing? It gets ridiculous after 30 seconds. Yeah, I agree. I do appreciate clapping after a movie to show your appreciation for it, but 22 minutes, even 7 minutes, is really long.
That's a whole SpongeBob episode.
That's literally...
that's longer than a SpongeBob episode, actually.
I could literally watch an episode of Futurama or something in that time and be good to go. But like to be fair, like I've seen, so there are like fan recorded videos of these ovations, and they usually like start the clapping when the credits roll. Sometimes the credits will, like, as it gets to the actors, you'll see like bursts in applause for people, for like higher up people, like cinematography, director, things, like that. As the credits go on, they kind of just pitter out. But then they have a camera that they actually bring into the audience, and like they'll focus on like the key actors and the director, and they get like more rounds of applause. So yeah, to be fair, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny got a 5-minute standing ovation. So
doesn't take much, huh?
Well, that was mostly for Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
But not that the movie's terrible. It's not bad. Cassidy had my comment queued for Poor Thing, so stoked for this one. Really excited for this one.
Big Mark
Hopefully it's
Ruffalo
as good.
fan.
Yes, and apparently Mark Ruffalo is the funniest he's ever been, which is really interesting.
Wow, very interesting.
I think I'm trying to remember the thing it was trying to say that he was like, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Matt Walls, my high school reunion is next year. If I'm going to be drunk the whole time, if I go. Well, hopefully not drunk enough you make a mistake or rekindle your parkour days, like Adrian did.
Yeah, it was really funny. Before we went, I kept going like, "Man, you guys think anyone's gonna like do anything crazy?" Turns out it was me.
He was psychic to his own future.
Yeah.
Well, those are it for the comments. We'll go ahead and move it right along. We had quite a few trailers that came out in the last week, and quite a few good ones, actually. We had a drought of good trailers last week, and we had some pretty darn good ones this week. Adrian, what stood out to you?
Godzilla -1, I think, was a huge one for me. That looks really cool. Just love the whole style of it and everything. And also, Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget looks. I feel like that's such a childhood movie for me. I'm stoked to be getting another one.
Yeah, I think there's actually quite a few trailers here that I want to talk about. You did say Godzilla -1, which I think looks really cool, and hopefully it's going to be pretty decent. Chicken Run, it's a blast of nostalgia. Gotta love it. We already talked about The Boy and the Heron. It's not a full trailer yet, but we're getting that tomorrow. Exorcist Believer, pretty gosh darn good trailer. Five Nights at Freddy's is looking pretty good still. Hopefully it'll be good when it comes out. Saltburn, I think, is looking really cool.
Yeah.
Ferrari's looking kind of like a standard run-of-the-mill biopic, but hopefully it's got a good performance from Adam Driver to anchor it. However, I do want to talk about No One Will Save You.
Okay.
This trailer came out today, and I wasn't expecting it. I don't know, the Universal or Paramount Pictures, whoever is distributing it, their thumbnail looked like one of those clickbait paranormal videos on YouTube where there's like a red circle around the creature in the background with an arrow.
Literally, like behind someone running. It was like,
yeah.
You're like, look at this.
And it was like, holy crap. And then I found out that it's starring and executive produced by Caitlin Dever, who was in Booksmart, which is one of the movies in my top 150 video. But also, she's a star of that show Last Man Standing with Tim Allen that was on Fox for a while. And I'm really excited for her to get more work. And she's producing it too, which I think is huge. So,
and I don't think we've had a good like alien film in a quick minute, so I'm all for it.
Yeah, really excited to see what they can do with it.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and get into the comments. Godzilla -1 needs to come out now. Yes, I'm hoping that we get a limited theatrical release. Actually, probably more. No, let's get a widespread theatrical release in the US. I think people are itching for a brand new Japanese Godzilla movie that has the production value that this one does.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Let's go ahead and moving right along into my favorite part of the show, which is really weird because it's the thing that I do, is watching movies. And I get to tell you how I feel about them. So let's go ahead and dive in. Up first, I watched Samsara from 2011 and gave it an 84 out of 100. Samsara is an incredibly beautiful film with some fantastic cinematography. I was not expecting a narrative, as this was my first montage documentary. I felt the movie was combining two narratives, one that the world is far more beautiful than humans deserve, and the other that humans both ruin and enhance the planet. I felt conflicted coming out, but its beauty is undeniable. Again, it's the first montage documentary I've ever seen, kind of a loose collection of images that make up some sort of plot line. It's worth checking out, although I think the Qatsi trilogy is more highly recommended. After that, I watched 12 Angry Men. This is the first 100 out of 100 I've given in quite a while. 12 Angry Men is perfectly paced, acted, and crafted. It doesn't matter what time period it's from, this film will always be relevant and important. It's filled with tension and keeps you on the edge of your seat, all without leaving the jury's deliberation. If you haven't seen 12 Angry Men, I could not recommend it high enough. After that, checked out a movie called The Lobster, which is actually Yorgos Lanthimos, the director of the upcoming Poor Things we were talking about. The Lobster starts very strong, but manages to lose steam about halfway through. The film feels almost Anderson-inspired, since the dialogue is very quick and ultimately kind of emotionless. Here, I don't think it worked as well, and I couldn't form any attachment to any of the characters except for maybe Colin Farrell in the lead role. Not that the performances are bad, I just feel that the script wasn't as strong as the cast or the production. So if you want to check it out, hey, well, some of you may like it a lot more than I did. After that, I watched Geostorm, and god damn was this movie terrible. Geostorm commits the cardinal sin of being a boring disaster movie. Literally nothing interesting happens until the last 30 minutes. Even then, the visual effects were far better in earlier disaster movies. It's got a half-baked mystery that anyone can see coming. All of the performances are wooden, and it's just terrible. It gets some points for some creative disaster sequences, but even then, they just look awful, so it's not really worth it. And finally, watched a kind of indie classic, Dog Day Afternoon with Al Pacino. Give it a 92. Dog Day Afternoon is a wonderful and surprising film anchored by great performances and a consistent tone. Pacino is at his best here, as is most of the supporting cast. I do feel it drags a little bit in its second act, but overall the film is a really, really great time. So gave that a 92. Not the one that I would highly recommend.
Some really good ones on that list. I love that you watched Geostorm on your own. That's awesome. Congratulations for that.
Honestly, it was like I feel like I had watched too many movies back to back that were either really artsy or just like highly regarded. So I was like, I want to check out I wasn't even looking for a bad movie. I was just looking for like a blockbuster, like something that was like a popcorn movie.
Almost like a Moonfall 2012 kind of movie.
Yeah, and I was expecting, because I'd heard really good things about Greenland, which is a disaster movie with Gerard Butler, and I confused the two of them. So
I just got caught with Geostorm.
I got caught in Geostorm, and I think literally, I don't think I've so loudly exclaimed the words "what, why" in theaters or in my chair as much as I did there. So, but if you want to see any of these reviews or the countless others that I've done, I'm actually getting close to 1,000. Holy moly! There are currently 833 other reviews that you can find on Letterboxd. So
there you go.
Let's go ahead and get some comments here. Dang, kind of forgot that FNAF was coming out. I feel like that trailer dropped forever ago. No, it probably dropped like 2 months ago.
Feels like a long time though. I will agree.
Definitely it wasn't last year. I think we got the announcement last year, but I don't know about a trailer. I think we covered the first trailer here on the stream.
Yeah, that was like a month and a half ago for the trailer.
Yeah, weird. Matt Walsh, 12 Angry Men is a GOAT tier movie. Yes, it is. Clearly deserves a lot of people consider it the best movie of all time, up there with Godfather and similar movies. I can see why. But yeah.
Awesome. Oh. Am I here?
You are here.
All right, that's enough about what Garrett did watch. A lot of you guys like to go to the movies, so let's go ahead and find out what is coming out this weekend. Coming out on the 8th, we have The Nun 2. 1956 France, a priest is murdered and evil is spreading. The sequel to the worldwide smash hit follows Sister Irene as she once again comes face to face with Valak, the demon nun. This one's coming out to wide release, sequel in the Conjuring universe. So if that is something that interests you, make sure to go check that out. Then we also have My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3. Join the Portokalos family as they travel to a family reunion in Greece for a heartwarming and hilarious trip full of love, twists, and turns. This one is part of kind of that trilogy, I guess, or it was a duo, and now it's a trilogy of the My Big Fat Greek Wedding movies, so make sure to go check that out if you're into those. Then we have J1 coming out on the 7th. A man is driven by a personal vendetta to rectify the wrongs in society while keeping a promise he made years ago. He comes up against a monstrous outlaw with no fear who's caused extreme suffering to many. This one seems really cool. Seems like a really, really well-stylized film and seems really fun. Then we have Americazzi coming out on the 8th. This one has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes currently. In 1948, decades after fleeing Armenia to the U.S. as a child, Charlie returns in the hope of finding a connection to his roots, but what he finds instead is a country crushed under Soviet rule. After being unjustly imprisoned, Charlie falls into despair until he discovers that he can see into a nearby apartment from his cell window, the home of a prison guard. This one looks really, really interesting. The slogan is "Freedom is a state of mind." It just seems like a really powerful movie that's really well made. So this one might be one that I check out. It will be limited release, so you might have to travel a bit to find it. Then we have Aristotle and Dante discover the secrets of the universe, based on the book that I don't think he's in the chat, but Joe did read. Based on the book by Benjamin Elir Sáenz, set in 1987 El Paso. It's the tale of two teenage Mexican-American loners as they explore their friendship and the difficult road to self-discovery. And then last but not least, we do have Christine, the 40th anniversary re-release, coming out on the 10th, just right before our next live stream. A nerdish boy buys a strange car with an evil mind of its own, and his nature starts to change to reflect it. This one, it's one of John Carpenter's movies. If you're into anything like that kind of horror thriller, especially the classics, this one will be in theaters, and I wouldn't miss it. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, kind of similar to They Live and Perfect Blue being in theaters this week. If you have the chance to go and see them, all three of them. Christine is a really fun movie. I would say, it's a good time if you want to go see it. So definitely. Yeah, some really interesting stuff coming out this week. I hadn't heard of Americazzi, and I was actually wondering, I was just talking about Samsara, the montage documentary, and that it was made by the cinematographer of a trilogy of montage documentaries called the Qatsi Trilogy, which is Qaatsi. So I was wondering if it was just like a different name for the same thing, but I guess not. So, but it still sounds really good. I'm interested in checking that out. If it's got a good score, then hopefully it gets some awards attention
for sure.
But that's gonna be it for what came out or what's coming out this week. I always get these confused. That's it for what's coming out this week. Let's talk about what happened last week. And at the top of the box office leaderboard, we had The Equalizer 3 with $34.6 million this weekend, followed by Barbie hanging in second place, still doing really good with $10.2 million. Blue Beetle coming in third with $7.1 million. Gran Turismo having a really weak second week, falling to $6.6 million. And Oppenheimer in fifth place with $5.7 million. So some pretty impressive stuff from Oppenheimer and Barbie. Blue Beetle holding on despite all the odds. Of course, Equalizer 3 is probably the biggest release of the week, so it's going to be in first place.
I was actually surprised that it surpassed Barbie. I was not expecting that. I thought that it would fall just under it. I thought it was going to get second place. Yeah,
I mean, hey, you can't, don't be dissing on Denzel. Man, he can come in and clean some house.
Oh, I love the Equalizer film, so I'm glad that it's doing better. I just didn't anticipate it.
But what's that? Did the music just change? It sounds like it's time for the Wheel of Fate. If you want to go ahead and get those suggestions in for this week's Wheel of Fate, Adrian will go ahead and put them into his spinning wheel of magic and get those inputted to see what I will be watching for next week.
Feel free to enter as many as you'd like. I'm typing away. And if you don't enter any, then I just get to pick 2 movies for Garrett to watch.
Ooh, well, hey, we're getting some comments coming in. So, I mean, hey, we'll see. Depending on how many actually suggestions we have, you can always throw those 2 in if you want. But let's go ahead and talk about the ones from last week that were selected for me. Up first was the film Warrior, the mixed martial arts film with Joel Edgerton and Tom Hardy. I gave it a 70 out of 100. I said that it's got an emotional ending, and I think Joel Edgerton gives one of his best performances, but I think it takes way too long to get going, and it doesn't dive deep enough into the brothers' backstory. I would have preferred more of their history over the training montages, and the entire first act was just really boring to me. Also, I love Tom Hardy, but I just was not a fan of him in this movie. It's not a bad performance. I just don't feel like he did anything, really. I just felt like he was just there to be imposing and to be kind of menacing, and just didn't come off that way to me. Just came off really annoying. So, but I gave it a 70. Still enjoyable. I really like the ending, actually. So then after that was American History X, which was, I believe, submitted by our friend Joey, or our friend Joey. Yes, Adrian's Joey, not my Joey. My Joey is Senior Fro in the comments. But American History X has some great cinematography and a really great performance from Edward Norton. However, I do think its messaging gets a little fuzzy, and I think I would have done better to focus on more of the transformation that Derek goes through, the main character, as opposed to showing the heinous things he did. It's definitely an uncomfortable viewing, and it's not something I'm going to be clamoring over to watch again. Definitely a movie that I came out of very conflicted. I feel like it was trying to really set up the idea of like hate is bad, and then I feel like it does a lot of things to undo that towards the end, which I wasn't really too keen on. But it's shot very well. It's performed very well. Probably the best performance I've seen from Edward Norton in quite a while. But it is definitely hard to watch, especially nowadays. I feel like there's a lot of people out there like that are able to hide it just a little bit better than you'd think. So I would say it's worth a watch for you to decide yourself whether or not its messaging is true or not, or if they follow through on their intentions. I think it's a little muddled, but other than that, it was an experience for sure. But wow, it looks like we've had quite a few comments that have come in. How's our wheel looking?
It's looking good. I think we'll go for just a little bit longer while they're still coming in.
Sounds good to me. If we can get any little number of, not little number, anything you want to add, any movies, go ahead and get them in. No cap on how many things you can submit.
It does dilute your own chances of being selected, though. The more that are submitted,
it does.
It is a double-edged sword. If you're, it's so interesting. I find it really funny how like someone that submits like 8 ends up just
and doesn't get picked.
Chances. Yeah,
or they get totally picked and they get both.
Yeah. All right.
I think we're good to
go.
go.
Ahead and wrap it up. Yep. All right, and let me go ahead and share my screen here.
I got my letterbox pulled up just in case there is a selection made that I have already seen.
All right, just to be clear, we're going to shuffle these around. A bit of Tom Cruise for you.
I've been looking forward to watching this movie for a while.
All right,
I never actually pulled the trigger.
For the last film today. Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates.
Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates. I have not heard of that one.
Falling right into Cassidy's trap of Aubrey Plaza films.
Oh, this isn't the Netflix. Okay, for some reason I thought it was the Netflix exclusive, but no, it is not. Alrighty. So again, 2 movies with so much in common that it's painful almost. Cool. Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates and Collateral. Thank you all for getting these in. Quite a few suggestions in here. Yeah, these were all selections that were no comments.
Cool,
we did get some comments here. Matt Walls, though, I'm going to have to see Equalizer 3 this weekend. Hopefully you enjoy it. I've heard pretty good things. I've heard good things about the entire trilogy, so if you enjoy it, hey, go for it. I'm going through some of these here. I'm seeing if there's anything that I've actually already covered. Titanic, I have already covered. We actually covered it here on the show.
Yeah.
I watched it during the stream. You'll have to go back and find it because it's very disappointing. Kevin says the wheel is rigged. Hey, that's why you have your own show on here and you can pick the movies for that one. Speaking of, check out Movie Club, our new show. It's a lot of fun. We covered the latest episode was Groundhog Day, which was a lot of fun to talk about. And next week, coming up, we are covering Parasite, the Oscar winner from Korea.
See, it would have been really cool if you just did Groundhog again. That would have been the real IQ move.
That would have been really funny. There is someone on Letterboxd, I don't know if it's true, but they've watched Groundhog Day every day for 10 years.
I feel like eventually you can just put that on.
It's definitely one of those, like, I feel like Groundhog Day for a lot of people is one of those movies where it's like The Office, where you can just put it on for like comfort and it's just kind of, bring you
I also feel like with that streak though, like you could just play the movie and then go about your day and have it, like you don't have to be there for it.
100%. Yeah, and like for me, like if it's a particularly slow day at work, I can put a movie on the side that I've already seen before in my life, and I can just kind of idly pay attention to it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, hey, that's the way it goes. But that's going to be it for the show this week. But Adrian, what have you been doing outside the show? Any shows you've been watching? Any books you've been reading? Activities you've been doing? What have you been up to?
Haven't been watching any shows. We did watch Couples Retreat as kind of just a fun, like, random watch the other night. Doesn't really hold up to what I remember it being in theaters, but it was okay. Yeah, haven't even really been able to read. Just been working and hanging out on the weekends. Like I said, I had my high school reunion, so that was pretty much the focus of this one. And then, yeah, just a busy boy, I guess. That's all I got going on, unfortunately.
Awesome stuff. I mean, hey, you got to do what you can with the time you got. So I get you. For me,
I was just reminded we did watch Colette on Netflix. It's leaving Netflix on the 12th. It is the it's the Keira Knightley period piece about a ghostwriter, a female ghostwriter who ends up like making a name for herself based on a true story. And it was actually really good. Would recommend it to a friend. It was really, really entertaining.
But not an enemy.
No, that's too much.
Okay. Gotcha, just making sure. Matt Walls, Casey Neistat on YouTube had The Godfather on a computer screen play on repeat for years. I don't know if he still does it. Wow. I mean, that's a dense movie. I don't know. I mean, if it's just idly in the background and you've heard it that many times, I'm sure you're just like, hey, you come to me on the day of my daughter's wedding. I almost said father's wedding. That's not right. But yeah, that's nuts. As for me, I kind of teased it earlier in the show. The activity I've been doing, it's been taking all my time. Starfield is out for those of us who paid the $31 for the premium edition on top of Game Pass, or if you purchase the premium edition. And I've been really enjoying it. I think I'm about almost 20 hours into the game at this point, and I don't care what other people are saying. I think it's already in my top 5 games of all time. But we'll have to wait and see if that continues. But I've been really, really enjoying it. Also, yesterday, actually, I believe Nadia and Kevin are still in the chat. We went to Book Off, which is a local chain that does like used movies and CDs and all that kind of stuff, and got some fun stuff to share with y'all here on stream. Among the things that I had purchased was a brand new steelbook of Psycho, which looks pretty awesome. The original, not the Gus Van Sant remake. Also got a Blu-ray copy of King Kong, the original. This one actually has the book kind of thing inside.
Wow.
With art and stuff, which is really cool. Picked up The Shining on 4K, which I own The Shining, but I don't own it on 4K. So I wanted to get it for updated bonus features and such. And then probably the coolest thing so far is I got the Criterion Collection Do the Right Thing, the Spike Lee film, which this is pretty sweet. It actually kind of slides out and has a whole book on the inside, which is pretty massive. So really, really cool stuff in this. I've been really waiting to watch this movie for a long time, and I'm very excited that I actually own it now.
That's awesome. Yeah, what a cool collection.
But besides that, I've actually been in quite the anime mood lately. Oddly enough, I ordered, and I will be watching tomorrow, the complete Neon Genesis Evangelion series, which I'm really excited about, which I've never seen, so it's going to be quite the experience. And then I started watching a show that's always been recommended to me called ReZero, Life Again in Another World, I believe. Starting Life in Another World, which I'm a fan of isekai anime. I think Adrian has liked a couple of isekais too. Ones where people are sucked into another world and they have to like start over. Yeah. Like Overlord is one of those. Yeah. Sword Art Online, for those of you who enjoy that show, is like that too. But yeah, I mean, hey, moods change every once in a while, so it's just what I've been watching lately. But got some comments. Jose, which book off did you go to? We went to the one in Costa Mesa. So Nadia said, a fun trip indeed. Our vlog will be up next Wednesday. So if you're not subscribed to Nadia already at Horror and More, go do that, and you'll see our fun vlog where you can see the face melted Indiana Jones, which is nuts. And then Matt Walls, Do the Right Thing is so good, I need to rewatch it. This is actually the first time I took these to the counter to be rung up, and the guy complimented my taste. And he's like, "Hey, these are all really good picks." And I was like, "You're damn right, they're all good picks." And I didn't actually say that, but he particularly was talking about Do the Right Thing. I guess he was a huge fan of the film. It was like life changing for him. So I was like, "Hey, man, I'm always happy to talk about it."
That's awesome. What a cool version of it too.
Yeah, Criterion Collection stuff is so high quality. So, Garrett, be mentally ready when you watch the movie that ends the Evangelion series. It's an acid trip of a movie. I have heard, and I'm so excited. Sorry, Thursday, new upload days. Okay, awesome. Well, the video will be up next Thursday then. But fun. Well, that's pretty much it. If y'all have any comments, questions, concerns, criticisms to get in, now is the time. As we said, this Friday, we have the new episode of Movie Club coming out where we're going to be covering Parasite. So make sure you stick around for that. And the week after that, don't know what it is yet. You'll have to find out on that video. Other than that, have a brand new video completely written, and it is going to be starting to film it soon. That'll be a new list type video, so make sure you're on the lookout for that. Hopefully it'll be ready within the next 3 weeks.
Is it going to be another 150 films?
No. I guess I can kind of share what's about. It's going to be basically the biggest Oscar snubs of all time. Basically going through every category in movies that should have won or been nominated in those categories that weren't or didn't win.
Okay.
So It's going to be a lot of fun to talk about. But until then, Adrian, where can everyone find us online if they want to follow us?
Sure. Real Watchers, pretty much anywhere. REELWATCHERS. Real as in the film Reel. We got Instagram. We're here on YouTube. We go live every single Tuesday on YouTube and Twitch. So make sure to like, subscribe, follow, hit the bell, use your free follow, whatever you got to do to make sure you stick around for the news. And then if you follow us on YouTube with the subscribe bell button, you'll get a bunch of additional content, some of which Garrett just mentioned. We have our Friday movie club for Real Watchers Movie Club. And then also additional videos that Garrett does put a lot of time and effort into that come out on our YouTube channel. And then I know he's working on TikTok, so it'll probably be under the same name, Real Watchers, but I think that's under development. But should be seeing some stuff over there pretty soon.
That is absolutely correct. So make sure you follow us there. Make sure if you have any comments, go ahead and get them in now. Any questions, concerns, criticisms, anything. Adrian, any fun plans for this coming weekend?
This weekend is Cassidy's dad's birth. Well, this past weekend was, but we're celebrating next weekend. Launching off the football season with a little party for him, so that should be pretty fun. And then, yeah, I think just relaxing, probably cleaning up a bit. Feel like life goes on, so I've got to pick up and do some laundry and all that boring stuff. But yeah, just living life. How about yourself this coming weekend?
As far as I know, there's not a whole lot. Luckily, the week's pretty short. It's a day shorter than normal because I had a 3-day weekend. Saturday, Friday, not a whole lot going on, but Sunday, I am going to there's a performance down here for the Book of Mormon, the musical. So I'm going to see that with some family, which is going to be awesome because it is one of the best musicals I've ever seen. It was so funny. So really excited for that. Other than that, not a whole lot. Probably going to be losing my mind over more Starfield.
Yeah. So. That's awesome. That's so cool. It's coming towards you.
Yeah. Like I think I saw it when it came near me probably in like 2013, 2014. So it's been a hot minute since it's been here in my neck of the woods. And I've been telling my mom for years that we need to go because she's also a musical theater person.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we got a big group of people going, so it's going to be a lot of fun. But so we got a couple of comments here. Kevin saying new upload days, but it is what she said. Cassidy, go Steelers. I love that baseball team. I don't follow sports. I know it's a football team.
You do follow sports.
Not really.
You have like favorite baseball teams and stuff.
Not really. The updates get sent to my phone because we went to like 2 games. I mean, I follow like the World Cup and when the Olympics are on, but I don't really follow any kind of sports majorly.
Okay.
Why did the upload dates change? Because she can. Kevin says, "Go Chargers, go Bolts, go." Are they called the Bolts? I didn't know that.
I also didn't know that. I don't think that's a thing.
Or maybe that's just the chant that they say at the
No.
games. I don't know. Go Mississippi Nets. I don't know if that's a real team. But again, I don't really follow sports, so there you go. Go Alabama. Okay, this is turning into a...
Roll Tide.
This is turning into an ESPN Twitter thread. Alrighty. Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us, everyone. It's been a little bit of a short week this week. Not a whole lot of news, but hey, no shortage of things to talk about. A lot of fun. Kevin says it's the chant. Bolt up is Tersolgan. Oh, wow. Is that... what language is that, Adrian?
Slovakian.
I don't know what I was expecting to hear, but it wasn't Slovakian. Every once in a while, you can get me to crack like that. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be live again next week, same time, same place. And we have, again, new video coming out on Friday with Movie Club. And until then, keep your eyes on the screen. Have a good one.